Hello everyone, I'm Rahul and today I'm going to talk about productivity and time management. And I'm not going to talk about the general stuff which you can easily Google and find out. I would rather want you to question and inquire, what does productivity mean to you? What is the significance of productivity in your life? And later on we will deal with the problem of managing time. So first let's begin with the meaning of productivity. We live in a world where everyone is just obsessed about getting more things done. And productivity essentially means getting more things done in less amount of time. The direct emphasis is on the efficiency. And there is a huge culture out there, the hustle and grind culture, and the proponent of this culture say that you should work really hard in your life. You should hustle, you should grind. Because their basic understanding of life is that till the time you are not going to become professionally successful, you cannot feel happy, you cannot feel satisfied, you cannot feel fulfilled. And this is where I think that they have gone wrong. Because human beings are not machines. Even the machines wear out without any rest. Human beings are delicate piece of life. Human beings are a multidimensional possibility. So your work is important, but your rest is also as important. Your relationships are important, your health is important, your inner growth is important. So you should focus on all the dimensions of life, not just one. Why should you only have one juice flowing in your life when you can have the richness of various juices? Why should you settle for just one color when you can have the richness of a rainbow? So from that standpoint, I just want to say that when it comes to productivity, never think about one-dimensional productivity. Always think about multi-dimensional productivity. Secondly, when it comes to productivity, immediately our emphasis becomes on the quantitative aspect, not on the qualitative aspect. So this difference has to be understood between the quantity and the quality. Quantity means that you have to go from point A to point B in the shortest amount of time. This is where the efficiency and the quantity comes from. But quality means that going from point A to point B and enjoying the whole journey. That is where the quality comes in. And most of these productivity apps and gurus and all the organizers, they just force you to do a particular activity so that you can get it done. Just getting things done is not going to add any qualitative experience in your life. So you need to remember these two aspects when it comes to productivity, that you should grow multidimensionally as well as there should be a qualitative experience in your life. Now, once we are clear on these two aspects, we can proceed further to understand the problem of managing time. The first and foremost thing to be understood about time management is that we all have same amount of time. Time is not a commodity as if some people can have more than the other. Time is common for everyone. But you will find that there are people who are growing extraordinarily well in every dimension of their life. They are enjoying their work, they are enjoying their family life, they are learning new skills, they are hanging out with their friends, and they are enjoying each and every moment of their life. And they are never at all complaining about the lack of time. On the other hand, you will find some lousy people who are doing poorly in every dimension of their life, and they are always also complaining about the lack of time. So what is the difference between these two people? The only difference is that one is more aware about where his or her time goes. So if you are someone who's always complaining about the lack of time, then I want you to do a simple experiment. Just for a day, remain alone at home by yourself without any external stimulus, which means no books, no internet, no calling up friends, no TV. Don't indulge in anything. Just remain alone by yourself. Experience the solitude. And then you will realize how long a day actually is. You need to understand that time is really a relative value. Time only seems to be less when you are unnecessarily occupied in the trivial things of life without even becoming aware that you are indulging in them. The lack of awareness is the cause. And what do I mean by the trivial things? Watching mindlessly all these funny videos on the YouTube, all the videos that add no value in your life. Sometimes you feel bored and you call up your friend and you think that you're going to chat for 5-10 minutes, and that 5-10 minutes conversation turns into an hour-long gossip. Sometimes you get back from work at home and you think that you're going to consume news for a while. And that 10-20 minutes of consuming news turns into 2 hours of watching mindless television. You know, human beings are creatures of habit. 90% of the things that are happening in our life are happening unconsciously. We are functioning on the autopilot mode. So you really need to find out what is it that makes you waste a lot of your time. What is your programming? You know, we are always functioning according to this unconscious programming which has happened over a long period of time. So this is the first step that you need to take. Spend a day alone. It is like deconditioning yourself of all these destructive habits that you have built over the years. Now, once you have gone through this one day of solitude, the second step is to recognize your unconscious time wasting patterns. We all have different vices in us. We all have different ways of wasting time. So there is no generic application that is going to be there for everyone. Maybe you are very efficient at your work. Maybe you don't waste your time at work, but when you go to the gym, you waste an hour extra by gossiping. So you really need to find out where are you wasting your time and how you're going to do it by keeping a track of where your time goes. For next few weeks, you are going to create a 24-hour log for every day, and at the end of every hour, you are going to write down what you did in that hour. And you have to do it in a very non-judgmental way. The idea here is to become aware of where your time goes. You do not have to think about whether you are being destructive towards yourself, whether you are being creative in your life. These are not the things that you have to think. You just have to become aware. And why am I asking you to do this? The reason is that human beings are tremendously intelligent. You know, for example, when you touch a hot surface once, you don't do it again. Why? Because you become aware of the whole phenomena that touching a hot surface is a danger. You should not do it. In the same way, when you are going to become aware of these psychological patterns that are making you waste a lot of your precious time, you will not do it. You will perceive it as a danger. So you don't have to forcefully resist these patterns in your life. You just have to become aware. And the last step is to discard the non-essential and stick to the essential. This is the secret formula to become productive in your life. Remember, by productivity, I mean having a quality in your life, having a multidimensional growth. If you're going to get rid of all these non-essential time-wasting patterns, then it is very evident that you're going to invest that time in the essential things. And investing the time in the essential things in a very immersive and qualitative way will add richness to your life. Now, first let's try to understand how you're going to discard the non-essential. Like I previously said, that sometimes a basic awareness is enough to transform you as a person. You do not need to resist these urges and impulses to indulge in the time-wasting patterns. The basic awareness that you are spending your time in a stupid way is enough a lot of times. But if there is some deeply ingrained pattern in you, some deeply ingrained habit that has been conditioned over a very long period of time, then it could get a little difficult for you. In that scenario, I just want to tell you that you do not need to resist these urges and impulses. Why? Because these urges and impulses are very transient in nature. So you just need to be more vigilant in your life. The moment the impulse is going to be there to indulge in a time-wasting habit, you just have to remind yourself that the impulse is here and it will force me to indulge in a time-wasting habit, but I'm not going to do it. I will just watch this impulse, and you will realize that this impulse doesn't last for long. Perhaps it is going to be there for a few seconds or maybe a minute, but after a minute it will be gone. If you can watch this impulse for that one long minute, then you will find that the impulse simply arises and it passes away. It just flowers and withers away, and you don't have to do anything about it. If you are just going to watch it once, then you will find a tremendous control in your life, a tremendous mastery in your life. So this is how you're going to discard the non-essential from your life. And coming to the question of how to stick to the essential. Now in this context, let me tell you this thing right away, that till the time you're not going to enjoy the essential things in your life, you're not going to stick to them. This is the great secret. that you only stick to things that you love in your life. You only stick to things that you enjoy in your life. For example, if you're going to ask a student that what is the most essential thing that he should be doing in his life, chances are that he will say that I need to study more. Everyone knows that what is essential in their life. I do not need to tell you that this is the most important thing that you need to do in your life. We all are intelligent beings, but we fail at sticking to the essential. The same student will tell you that he spends a huge amount of time every single day playing the video games or gossiping with his friends or watching these mindless content on Netflix or YouTube. So what is the reason that this same student sticks to the non-essential but never sticks to the essential? The only reason is that the essential, which means studying, is not something that he enjoys. So till the time he is not going to enjoy his studies, till the time he is not going to love this essential aspect of his life, he will not stick to it. He will always postpone it. He will plan great things about it, that from tomorrow on I'm going to give it 5 hours, 6 hours, but every time he is bound to fail. So it's your responsibility to make the essential things of your life enjoyable, lovable. And if it is not something that is enjoyable and lovable, then perhaps you are in a very wrong place in your life. You really need to figure it out, what you should be doing in your life. Now, getting back to the problem of the student, if the same student changes his intention and motivation to study, there will be a significant change in his behavior. Then he will not have to push himself to study. And what is going to be the right motivation? The right motivation is exploring, learning the new subject. He should not think of studying in terms of grades and marks. He should think of studying in terms of learning and exploration, so that he can develop a perspective, so that he can evolve and turn into a better human being in life. Now, this is something which is intrinsic. This intrinsic motivation will make you love the subject. Lastly, I just want to say that if you can stick to the essential by loving it deeply, by enjoying it deeply, then there will be no need to force yourself into doing the essential things of your life. You will just throw yourself willingly into your work or whatever the essential thing in your life is. And the beauty of this thing is, when you are totally involved in something, you lose all sense of time. Now you will not have to keep a track of time, that you're going to spend 3 hours or 5 hours into doing that stuff. This is something that is very magical, and that happens with a lot of people. The athletes know this thing, the dancers know this thing, the artists know this thing, the writers know this thing, that when they are writing and there is this total involvement, suddenly there is no sense of time. The time ceases in that moment and they are possessed by the activity that they are doing. In such a space, you're not doing the work is happening through you. You're simply possessed by the work. And if you can tap into such a space, then there will be no need to keep a track of time. Then there will be no need to think about time management and productivity. There will be richness in your life, a multidimensional richness. There will be a deep satisfaction in your life, because you are going to add a qualitative experience in your life. So I hope that you had an insight into the real meaning and significance of productivity, and you're going to use the steps that I spoke about in order to change your life. And I wish you all the best for that.